Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, John Laurinaitis is no longer a defendant in Janel Grant's lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon.
Nick Nemeth is pissed at Trick Williams becoming TNA World Champion.
Some big WWE main roster call-ups are coming.
And AEW roster is banged up after AEW Double or Nothing. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
This is the news.
Right, we're going to kick this one off by talking about the latest developments in Janel Grant's lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon. You'll notice I'm saying WWE and Vince McMahon and not including John Laurinaitis in this because he is no longer a defendant in the lawsuit. Originally, it was filed against those three parties, WWE, Johnny Ace and Vince McMahon. Now, it's just WWE and Vince McMahon. Why is this? Well, according to a filing from yesterday, Laurinaitis, and according to a statement that was issued to Post Wrestling as well, Laurinaitis has agreed to provide evidence to Grant's side in this lawsuit relating to the case. I'm going to read you the statement that was provided to Post Wrestling. John Laurinaitis has agreed to cooperate and provide evidence in Janel Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE. His agreement to a confidential statement is a pivotal next step towards holding McMahon and WWE accountable and bringing justice to Ms. Grant after years of sexual abuse and trafficking. Mr. Laurinaitis looks forward to moving on with his life. We cannot provide any additional details at this time. So, when this dismissal of Laurinaitis as a defendant was provided, when it was submitted, basically. It was done with prejudice, which means that Grant has agreed that she won't revisit any claims against him in the future. Now, there is some stuff here from Vince's attorney, Vince McMahon's attorney, Jessica Rosenberg. She's kind of pointing towards some past comments that Laurinaitis has made. I'm going to read you her statement as well. Today's dismissal of John Laurinaitis as a defendant doesn't alter the facts of the case in any way. Vince McMahon never mistreated Janel Grant. No matter how many press releases her team issues, the truth remains unchanged. As Mr. Laurinaitis' lawyer previously said, Mr. Laurinaitis corroborates Mr. McMahon in publicly declaring Ms. Grant's allegations of sexual abuse and coercion in her complaint are completely unfounded. That's what, Laurinaitis' lawyer had said in the past. So, look, Laurinaitis' alignment has changed a couple of times. In February 2024, after just a few days after the lawsuit came out, it was filed and it was made public and all of that stuff, he actually claimed via his attorney, Laurinaitis, that he was a victim of Vince McMahon as well. Then by that May, he supported Vince and said he was corroborating, which is where that quote comes from. So, an amendment to the lawsuit was approved earlier this month. In that situation, it added a bunch of new details, and the complaint obviously alleges that Janel was sexually assaulted and trafficked by McMahon and Laurinaitis. She claims that McMahon sex trafficked her throughout her time in the company, and the company itself was negligent in the abuse that she suffered. So this is obviously moving forward. Currently, and this is according to Post, the defendants are expected to file motions to move the case out of the public court and into private arbitration by the 13th of June. That's just a couple of weeks away. Grant will be, as part of this, allowed to request discovery related to the litigation and the arbitration. They'll also be part of a question that they'll ask is whether or not the $3 million non-disclosure agreement that was part of all of this will be enforced as well. So, big few weeks ahead for this case. Yeah. If discovery is agreed to, that's going to be huge because everything's going to get out basically at that stage. Remains to be seen how all of this will shake out. It would be stupid and pointless to speculate on any of it, I think. But Laurinaitis is providing some evidence now is the key point to this, and he is no longer a defendant in this lawsuit. So obviously Vince, it's not the only lawsuit, and there's a federal investigation against this man at the moment as well, against Vince. Whenever there's a big development, we owe it to the case itself to come and talk about it. This is a big development, and it sounds like the next few weeks will be quite seismic in the development.
Huge development, like you say, and this is one of those things where We often sort of talk about this case and then it goes away for months on end because these things that take time, obviously. But in the coming weeks, it's going to be really interesting and very newsworthy to see what happens with it going forward. I think it's huge that Laurinaitis has flipped, basically, and is now providing evidence for the prosecution. And yeah, like you say, it's not really worth us, or probably a legally good idea for us to speculate any further on this case. But as and when we hear any developments, excellent reporting as always from Post Wrestling on this. We will bring them to you when we know more about it.
Yes, and with this stuff, look, the stuff that Vince has been accused of, obviously, are absolutely monstrous. And anyone who's been a victim to these behaviours anywhere, obviously, I hope they all get justice, basically. But hey, look, I know it's a sharp change of tone, but do you want to talk some stupid wrestling stuff for a bit?
Yeah, let's try and take our minds off this and talk a little bit about Trick Williams becoming TNA World Champion. Obviously happened at that's the other show, at NXT Battleground.
He is the AEW champion.
It was NXT Battleground over the weekend. The main event was Trick Williams challenging the then TNA World Champion Joe Hendry, and Trick, through some shenanigans, left as TNA World Champion. He will subsequently defend that world title, of course, against Mike Santana on next week's episode of NXT. But people within TNA, particularly Nick Nemeth, not happy about a WWE superstar holding that belt. Nick Nemeth sat down for an interview with, us! The brilliant Andrew Pollard, chatting to him.
Shall we roll the clip?
Yeah, in fact, here is what he had to say about Joe Hendry losing the TNA World title to Trick Williams.
What are your thoughts, both of you guys, on a wrestler from a different promotion holding your, at least in the singles ranks, your biggest prize?
I'm absolutely furious and pissed off about it. And that's not a joke or a game or isn't this a funny snip or clip to play? I feel like Joe Hendry has accomplished so much and he's brought so many eyes to TNA and he's kicked so much ass. This isn't a world of participation medals and awards that says, hey, great job. You lost our world title to a different guy from a company from a different company. So I don't go, hey, great job, buddy. Thanks for trying really hard and losing our title to a different company. I say, I congratulate him when he brings people in. When he defends that title, he beat me. And I said, damn it, you beat me. You got me. And when you lose and you mess up, just like I do to myself, or I get on Ryan's case, when we make mistakes, we own up to it. He lost our world title. I am not okay with that. I feel like we might need to bring back Wrestler Court or something, or pull him aside with everybody in the locker room, because if everyone's gonna pat him on the back for the good things, we need to let him know that he messed up and lost our world title. Trick Williams is a badass. He's awesome. He's got a great future, but he is an NXT talent who now is the TNA World Champion, and I am pissed off about it.
There you have it.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff.
It's a great interview, by the way. We'll link to it at the end of this news video because it's well worth checking out. Thanks again to Nick Nemeth, and once again, brilliant interviewing as always.
Good to have Nick and Ryan on the channel.
Yes.
The Hollywood Heels, baby. TNA Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
It's a really good interview with Andrew, and you should definitely check it out. It will be linked at the end, as you said.
He also suggests Wrestler's Court for Joe.
Yeah.
He buzz over Trick Williams. He says he's a badass. He's awesome.
Hey, we just rolled the clip, baby. We don't need that. We don't need that.
He's pissed off. He's pissed off. I understand why he is annoyed that a WWE star has taken that title away from the company.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm the heel, if I'm a Hollywood heel, I'd be pissed off that someone's coming to my company as well and taking this title. Yeah, it's good stuff. Obviously now it looks like they're building towards something with Mike Santana, and which is great, because I think Mike has worked extremely hard to transform his career and his life and his physique and everything, and I'm sure his mindset as well, to get to where he is right now. It's a great story, Mike Santana.
Looked great against Tavian Heights on NXT on Tuesday.
I'm rooting for him, I really am.
Slightly concerned he's going to be the one who should win it, but Trick weasels his way out of it.
Shenanigans. We'll see what comes of it. I do think, I kind of like glitches in the system like this. I liked it when Kenny Omega won the TNA title.
Yeah.
I like that Trick Williams won it. I think that it's just an interesting twist. It's obviously the biggest step forward in that partnership so far.
Yes.
The belt going to someone else. I'm into it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think this is one of the... It sounds weird because they've taken their belt away from them, but I think it's one of the biggest benefits that TNA have received with this WWE partnership, aside from obviously having the TNA World Champion appear in the Royal Rumble and at WrestleMania, of course. But, like, yeah, it felt like a bit of a one-way street for a while where they were just like, Joe Hendry's popular, Jordan Grace is amazing, thank you very much, we'll take all them, and you can have some... not underused NXT talent, let's be perfectly honest about this. But I think it's fascinating. In a weird way, as much as I love Mike Santana, and I do think he should be a world champion soon, I do hope he loses on Tuesday next week, because I want to see more. I want to see like Trick Williams on TNA television being like, what do you think about this, dickheads?
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Maybe they'll build to Mike winning it later down the line. Or maybe Joe getting it back. Or maybe Nick's going to win it now after these.
I want loads of TNA people trying to get it back from him, either on WWE or on TNA television. And yeah, I think it's really beneficial for both parties.
Yeah, so shout out to Nick and Ryan. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Check out the full interview. Shout out to Andrew Pollard.
Yeah.
A behemoth of a man.
Yeah.
Very tall.
He supports Wrexham, but don't hold that against him.
They play in red and white, so it's not all that bad. But yes. Hey, by the way, if you want to, speaking of things that have colours, we got some new merch on the store right now, whatculture.com/shop. We got some tour leftover merch at discount prices, 50% off.
Ooh.
So if you want to get our lovely World Tour t-shirt, there's a couple of others up there as well.
Father's Day coming up here in the UK soon.
It sure is, baby. A quick note on the tour merch. It does ship from the UK, so it might take a little while to get to you if you're in the States, but it's all up there right now.
Order in time for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, you're well in time for Christmas. So yes, forward planning, smart.
Yes.
Logical. Good.
It's good. It's awesome merch. The best merch we've ever had.
It's top 5 dead or alive.
Yes,
I would say. Right, let's talk about some main roster call-ups.
Oh yes, please.
Coming soon to a Raw or SmackDown near you are Stephanie Vaquer and Jordan Grace.
Amazing.
Good. This is from Corey Hayes of PW Nexus. He's had a lot of scoop skis recently. Big Corey, shout outs to him. He's got a red jersey in his Twitter profile. We're all wearing red. It's great. It's not at the moment. Aberdeen. Let's go.
There you go.
There you go. What is that? That's a helmet.
It is a helmet. I got given it at a live show.
What team is it? Arkansas.
I believe so. Yes.
Ah, my man. That guy ruled.
He was awesome.
That guy ruled. But yes, apparently after what's happened recently in NXT, Jordan Grace and Stephanie Vaquer appeared to be heading to the main roster. Obviously, at Battleground, they had a match that Jordan lost. It was a really good match.
Awesome.
Really good match. You should watch that if you have not already. And then on this week's episode of NXT, in one of the most surprising bits of WWE booking I can remember.
It's amazing, this.
JC Jane beat Stephanie for the women's title. So it sounds like they're both heading up. Look, said it from day one. All Jordan Grace needed in NXT was a cup of coffee.
Yep.
That's all she's had. Now she's going to the main roster. I think that she's one of the top 1 wrestlers in her division.
Yeah.
And with regards to Stephanie Vaquer, apparently she made the choice to go to NXT when she came to the United States.
I think it's been a good little period for her.
It has.
There.
It's worked well, and it's raised the standards of others as well,
Yeah.
which is
Absolutely.
great. So she's acclimated now to that setting and living in America and all that stuff. Now she can move up to the main roster. She's obviously great. Huge boost for the main roster, and it allows I see a lot of people when stuff like this happens, when the great wrestlers leave NXT, I see a lot of people going, oh, who's going to fill those spots? To me, that's a bit beside the point. The whole point is that those spots now exist for younger, less experienced wrestlers to step up. It's not about replacing like for like. It's about, can Jada Parker make the next big step? Can Lash Legend make... I'm very high on the Lash Legend. I think she's tremendous. She's someone I would like to see step into those slots. But yes, it's about growth and develop. It's a developmental brand at the end of the day. So, well, I mean, they've got like 4 levels of developmental now with Evolve and everything else and IT.
Top of development.
Yeah, it's like
LFG, next in line.
They've got developmental for the developmental for the developmental
ID
for the developmental.
ID.
Yeah. Which I met Gabe Sapolsky over wrestling.
Did,
he was wearing an ID t-shirt. I was like, hey, how's it going, Gabe? And he was like, I have no idea who you are. So that was fun. But yeah, good stuff.
I don't need an excuse to talk about NXT, but I'll take every opportunity. Yeah, these two have been absolutely brilliant down there, but we knew it was for a good time and not for a long time because they're just awesome.
Yeah.
That women's division in WWE is, no wonder they're doing Evolution too. Yeah. It is stacked now. I mean, you already look at the lineup for Money in the Bank, and to be honest, I'd put either or both of them in Money in the Bank like that, to be honest. Jordynne Grace and Stephanie Vaquer, of course, joining Julia on the main roster, so they've really bolstered that lineup in recent weeks and months. Roxanne Perez as well, we should mention too. She's in Money in the Bank. I think, push them straight to the moon. Don't mess about with this. They do not need to be like, hello, I'm Stephanie Vaquer, and I'm going to beat local enhancement talent for a few weeks, so you know who I am. Everyone knows who they are. Jordynne Grace was in the Rumble. Stephanie Vaquer is insanely popular already. The Booker T thing has kind of caught on, let's be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'm glad it'll never happen again, Fo.
Yeah,
I'm really, really glad that you're like a 50-plus-year-old man. Stop being a weird, creepy pervert, man.
He'll do it, someone else. But like you say, with regards to NXT and those spots being filled, they are not going to be struggling for a long time there. I mean, already on NXT Battleground, we saw an awesome match again between Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan. You mentioned Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Thea Hale, people like that. And JC Jane, just a word on her, because, I mean, it felt like when Brock Lesnar ended the streak, when JC Jane beat Stephanie Vaquer. Like, I know it was like worked with like Mike Rome and Vic Joseph, obviously. They're like, oh, I can't believe this. But the shots of the crowd, people in the crowd, and I know it's the NXT crowd, people were still like, what the hell just happened? And as you mentioned there, with Stephanie Vaquer being in NXT, you're right. JC Jane's a perfect example. The tag match, JC and Fallon Henley, another name to mention, they had with Vaquer and Jordynne Grace was the best match that JC has had. And then the title match is the other best match she's had in NXT, in my opinion. It's fascinating to see where the NXT women's division goes from here, but even more exciting to see where Grace and Vaquer go, because they're going to be mega stars.
Yeah, absolutely. If I was to speculate, I would imagine that when they put Steph on the main roster briefly after WrestleMania, the reception she got made them go, holy crap.
Yeah, she's ready, they're ready, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So, it's good. They're more than ready, and they should not be messing around on the third show any longer, in my opinion.
Let's transition from talking about NXT to AEW. Those two things are very rarely spoken about in the same sentence.
Yeah, they never go head to head.
But the AEW roster following Double or Nothing, surprise, surprise, pretty banged up. After some of those bloody matches. The relief is Jamie Hayter. I would say the relief is Jamie Hayter's fine after a match with Mercedes Moné. Probably not as good today after being attacked by Thekla on last night's Dynamite.
Well, what happened there? Like, it feels like the lights came on and we cut to the ring and she was already down.
Yeah.
What happened there? I don't
know.
Weird, but good.
She's fine. Obviously, Mercedes is fighting Toni Storm at All In. That card looks incredible already.
Good card.
Sean Ross Sapp, though, I should mention, of Fightful, getting reports from AEW that, after an epic night on Sunday, they're waiting for clearances from medical, but the list of are they okay? Is as long as it has been in a while. Major names would be the Young Bucks, who, anyone in Anarchy in the Arena probably still feeling it today. Yeah. Nick Jackson, it was feared, sustained a concussion, although there is no official diagnosis of that yet. But understandably, any involved in that match or some of the other just wars that went on Sunday night, struggling a little bit.
Yes, it's perfectly understandable. Wrestling is inherently dangerous, and there were some intense matches on that show.
Yeah.
There was obviously some concern about Jamie because of the most violent cradle I have ever seen.
Jesus Christ, Mercedes.
It was a bit of both, wasn't it? It was a bit of both, because Jamie has to snap herself down for that as well. So it's it was chaos. I thought it effing rocked.
Yeah.
Personally. And look, now obviously I would reappraise that if someone was legitimately hurt, but she wasn't.
No.
She's fine. So what's the issue? Good. Obviously, glad she's fine, because she had that horrible injury where she was out for over a year. And I'm not surprised that other people are banged up. It's wrestling. It's what happens. There are I'm pretty sure that everyone who works full-time in wrestling is banged up in some way at any given time. So, it happens. It's an occupational hazard, and I'm sure that everyone participating in it accepts that. You come out of pay-per-view, you might maybe be a bit sore for a couple of weeks. That's how it works.
I play 5-a-side on Monday and have to take about 3 weeks off afterwards because everything hurts again.
Yeah,
so
I have
Lord
to
knows what they're going through.
I have to wear my padded slippers after I go for a 5K. It's tough. It's tough.
Get well soon to everyone in AEW. Hope they're all okay. But like you say, understandable that they are suffering the after effects of Double or Nothing. But fingers crossed, everyone is just a bit achy.
Yeah, and if you want to cure your achy, breaky YouTube algorithm. How about you watch the full interview with Nick and Ryan Nemeth on the channel right now? It's really good stuff. They rib Paul out for supporting Wrexham a little bit. It's quite fun. Check it out. It's good. You'll like it. Bye. Bye.